Hello everyone, I'm Mark. Welcome to our channel. I've been making some adapter plates for a friend of mine. He's restoring a 1969 Dodge Dart convertible and he's modifying the dash. He's putting aftermarket gauges in and an aftermarket radio and climate control switches. Today's video is going to be covering the adapter plate I need to machine for the aftermarket radio. So let's get started. Okay, so what I have to do is I have to make an adapter plate that will fit in here and bolt to the dash and will hold this retainer that holds the aftermarket radio to make it where you can remove the radio when you don't want it in there. So one of the things I have to do is I have to cut out an opening in this plastic cover to match my adapter plate. My friend has purchased brand new plastic pieces here and here, and they're called NOS, new old stock. They're brand new, actual original factory parts. So I don't have those yet. When he brings them to me, then I'll have to cut those out. So I won't be cutting these out. So I'm not going to worry about that for now. But basically what I came up with on my drawing, it might look a little crude, but I've got to make a rectangular plate with a hole in it that adapter piece will slide down through and lock in place. He wants the lip on this adapter plate, I don't know if you can see that, he wants that to be flush with the top of this plastic, so when he puts the plastic cover in for the radio, this will sit down tight against this plastic surface. So I had to back figure my distance from the back. I don't know if you can see this, but this metal is actually below this, and my adapter plate's going to have to come in from the bottom and bolt into these holes with flathead screws. So I have to measure the distance between this surface and this surface so I know I'm sticking up the right amount. I tried a couple of different ways to measure that, and there's no good way to get in there because these holes aren't big enough to get, calipers or any type of gauge in there. I even tried just the old spring calipers, try to get in there, but it wouldn't fit where I could get a good measurement. So I came up with the old, anything in a storm kind of thing. I took a screw or a bolt and a nut, and then I put a lock nut on it, and I kept adjusting this and locking it down until it just fit on between that lip and the top of that plastic piece. And then I took calipers and measured between that surface, and that's given me 220 thousandths basically. So, I mean, it might not be within a tenth, but it's definitely close enough for what I'm doing. So that's the way I came up with that measurement. And so that's why I show 220 thousandths offset of my lip sticking up. So I've got everything pretty much laid out. So let's go ahead and get started in the mill, start milling this adapter plate out. I'm going to use this piece of aluminum I already had. It's 2 5/8 inches wide. I actually machined this for another project years ago and never to use it. So I'm just going to leave this surface the way it is. I'm going to skim each end down to where it's 9 inches overall and then start doing my machining on it. So let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to set this up in the mill. Make sure I'm tight down on the parallels. And I believe I can do all my milling operations from this one side. I won't have to take the part back out now until we're finished with it. So first thing I'm going to do is mill it to length. Let's redo this. That's better. Okay, now we're centered. That's the center of my block. So I can take everything, I zero out my digital readout, so I can take everything half, and half for my measurements. Okay, that should be the outside of my shape that I need. Next thing I'm going to do is whittle out the inside and then drill and tap the holes in each end and countersink them. And then I got a little tool I made up, I'll show you on the inside I have to cut out. Okay, my cutout in the center will go all the way through the block, so I'm not too concerned about holding the depth on that one. But what I want to do, I want to come here to the center and rough it out first, and then work my way out to the finished dimensions. Plunge into a hole like this all the way through. You gotta make sure you have a center cutting end mill. They make center cutting and non-center cutting, so I'll make sure that you have a center cutting or it's just gonna build up on you and not cut. Okay, now I'm going to plunge these corners out. because I'll show you what I have to do next to square those corners up. But what I need to do now is I need to drill and tap my holes on each end and then come back in, and I'll show you what I'm going to do to square these corners out. You can see they're rounded out. It's got a 3/8 radius there now because of the end mill I used. And I need almost a square corner for that part to fit in it. So I'll show you what I'm going to do to remedy that. Okay, now we go back and I'll show you what I'm going to do to cut these corners. Okay, since these are materials, aluminum, 6061 aluminum, it cuts fairly easily. So I don't have a vertical shaper or square broach I can use in here. So basically what I did is I took a piece of 01 tool steel, put it in the mill, cut a square on the end of it, heat treated it with a torch and dipped it in oil. So hopefully it's hard enough it'll cut this corner out. What I'm gonna have to do first is square it up. And so the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to put an indicator on it. And this isn't super critical, I'm just trying to get some clearance. If I'm off a thousandth or two, it's not going to matter. So basically I got it snugged in the collet, and now I'm just going to turn it. I've got the back gear engaged, so I'm just going to turn it until it's pretty flat. Okay, that's pretty flat right there. Now hopefully it won't move when I tighten it down, because I've got to snug it down pretty good. So I don't shove it up in the collet. Okay, that's within about a thousandth. So now I'm just going to use the mill as a broacher, as a vertical broach, and go in there and clean those corners out. Hopefully this will show up good enough on the camera to show you kind of what I'm trying to do here. Okay. So now I should be able to move back here like this. And just keep working my way back and cleaning that corner out. And it's not going to be perfect, I know, but it's going to be better than trying to cut that much out with a file. So just got to take my time, I don't get too rammy with it, because it is putting quite a bit of pressure on everything. As you can see, it goes pretty quick. Looks pretty good. I don't know why I should sound surprised. I was hoping it would do what I thought it would do. Okay. Did that. I don't know why those back corners didn't cut as good. Okay, I'll put the 3/4 inch end mill back in there and we'll finish cutting the center out. All I gotta do is deburr it and it should be done. this out of here and get it cleaned up, and then I'll show you what it looks like as a finished product. Well, here's the finished product with the radio holder installed in it. This will come through the back side of the dash. I'll have to cut this section out in the new piece he gives me. Plus I got to trim a little bit out of each side of the opening here, plus a little bit on the top and bottom. More, I got to take probably about a 16th or so on each end and maybe a 16th on the bottom and less on the top. And this will stick up through, and this lip you can see on it, this will bolt to the back side of the dash, and then this will stick up enough to where it'll be flush with this part of the plastic, so when he puts the radio in with the black plastic beauty ring around the radio, it'll sit tight against this surface. Of course, this will all be cut out of there so it won't interfere. So that's the second project, and it looks to me like it turned into another whole video, so I'll be do one more video hopefully tomorrow doing the speedometer. Just to give you an idea here of how much mess it makes. You can see all the chips on the floor. And let me get this off my holder here. You see all the chips around here on the floor and all the chips up on the mill just to make that one part. I think the majority of the part ended up as chips. You can see all the chips. And basically the main thing I used on this job was a 3/4 inch end mill, a number 7 drill, and a 1/4 20 tap, and a countersink. So that was pretty much it, and a file. And then my handy dandy homemade tool for cutting the corners out after I milled out that pocket. And if I can get it off here real quick. It's kind of hard to get off there one-handed holding the camera, but there you can see the squared off corners. It turned out pretty good. I did have to hit it a little bit with a file. It had a little bit of a burr there in the corner. I didn't go quite deep enough, but it only took a second to hit it with a file. So again, thanks for watching my videos. Hit like and subscribe if you like our videos, and share it with a friend. And have a great day. We'll see you in the next video. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you can hear this, but it's pouring down rain here right now, and in this metal building it really sounds loud. So if you're hearing a lot, it sounds like bacon frying in the background. It's the rain hitting the roof. So you know, we're in Florida, the Sunshine State, but it sure does rain here an awful lot for a Sunshine State. But thanks for watching.